This is my typical Saturday afternoon waiting for my vlog to update to YouTube. Processing usually takes around 45 minutes to an hour and a half depending on how long we are, and there's probably at least another hour wait for YouTube to process everything. I'm not really good about making sure that they're released at the same exact time. I'm pretty good about making sure they get out on Sunday. So right now it's about 2:29 in the PM. I'm gonna guess that this will become available probably around 5 o'clock. Anyway, the Packers are on right now playing Tampa Bay. Amanda tells me that Tampa Bay's ahead. That bums me out. But anyway, I'm gonna go watch that a little bit and quit procrastinating and finally get to that snow blowing. Hello, YouTubers, and welcome to another episode of Merc Vapor Adventures. Forgive me as I get things situated. It's been a little bit of a crazy week. I had taken the first 2 days off thinking that I would work on some house chores as well as get back at working on the 1200 Sportster Famine build, but we have a little one, a special needs little one, who is in quarantine for COVID. A late breaking development as of early last weekend. Everything's fine. We're into like day 6 or 7 now, and no temps or no symptoms. So we remain in quarantine, and I'm gonna see what I can do this weekend. It's evening, and we're going to turn some attention back on the in-house studio and just the basement in general. I've been holding out on some different odds and ends and toys, and I'm long overdue to do some updates down here. Eventually this will lead to the extensions for the bars on the bike, but more than anything, I have some time, a couple hours in here. It's warm, it's cold outside, and it's a good night to just settle in and see what I can do inside. The first goal is to get the wireless keyboard and trackpad working again. I've got the wireless mouse charging. This thing has sat idle for probably a month or so. And it's supposed to be easy with Macs, right? It's supposed to just work. Well, not always the case. Anyway, fingers crossed, I'll have these things repaired and working in no time. Don't get me wrong, I'm still a fan of Apple. Got the Apple Watch rocking, the Macs. Although I will be honest, even though I have Final Cut Pro, I have not been using that to do the blogs, the vlogs. That may change. We'll see. Well, today there's a couple of things I'm going to do. It's Friday night. I want to make sure I use some of this time because there is a number of things to catch up on. And so, as you saw in our last video, I did actually take the controls off the bike. And yes, it's a 97 Sportster, and it's been good. It's been used well because there is no labels anymore on the buttons. I do have a solution for that a little bit later. This particular one is the left-hand controls. So you got a turn signal, a high-low beam, and a horn. What I'm going to do is I am going to attempt depinning this harness, which is one of the bundles that was wrapped up in the headlight. From what I've seen on Blockhead, I should be able to just stick a paper clip down there. I spent a little bit of time in the storage barn looking for my solder station, and I found it, which is good news. And then we get to work on the reflection, a wire extension kit and some shrink tube from Burley with that Burley extension kit that I got. We actually have it for both sides. There's the controls for the right. I have not disconnected the right, mainly because I'm not sure if I need to do the extension on that side. I was going to double check that. And the additional thing is I have to look into how do I disconnect the throttle connections at the bottom of the other control. So I was very transparent with you that I'm learning along the way, and that's kind of where we're at. So I'm just giving an overview tonight. We'll get to this probably tomorrow and see if we can't get the harness disconnected, depinned. The one thing I will do tonight is I will get the trusty phone out, and just for funsies and safety, I am taking a picture of the wire harness and the wires, which was suggested by Blackhead. They did a bar replacement tutorial. Thank you guys. There's no way I would be doing this if I wouldn't have seen your video. All right, it is Sunday, and I am late to get things pushed out. The whole unexpected ordeal with my littlest really put me behind on some things, but I don't want to put out content without at least addressing something to do with the bike. So today we're going to see about depinning this. And again, this is the control from the left side of the bike handles. We're going to have to do this, I think, on both sides. So what I learned from watching Blackhead to depin this is the right tool for this job is a paper clip. And so I am going to stick it into this hole in the harness, jiggle it around, and see if I can't get the wire to release. And we'll see how easy this really is. Okay, so I have done things like this in the past, never on a motorcycle part, and I've got to be honest with you that I was kind of dreading this, and I'm seeing now that I was right to be dreading it. So I know one thing I was thinking about is, well, why don't people just cut it, like here, and splice in the new wire? And that's because you would have two locations where things would be spliced in. And so I understand, disconnect this, snip. We can have one location where we're splicing. Oh man, I'm just not feeling this. So I'm sure there's a secret that I'm just not getting. So I know they said something about raising and you'd feel a click. And the really bad part is I don't think these harnesses are generally available anymore. So it's not as simple as cutting here and splicing either. Well, let's move to a different wire and see if we have any better luck. And the thing is, I found out that I have to vacate my office, so I've been saying that we're going remote. Last week or the week before, I got an actual date, so it's no longer a matter of denial. And this afternoon, I've got to go pick up some stuff there and put together my desk. So, change can be exciting, but right now there is a whole lot going on. So I think, folks, what I'm learning is this job is going to require tremendous patience, and it's going to take time. And I am afraid I'm not going to be able to give you the satisfaction of seeing one of these pins get removed. Try a smaller clip and see if that helps. Additionally, a funny story while I'm doing this. I was talking with my wife because I walked out of the bathroom yesterday and bound a bit of my beard. My good friend Jim, who's also a writer, was talking about needing some wind therapy, which is absolutely true. We've got snow now in Minnesota, and it's sub 30s. Last night was some freezing rain to make it even more fun. So I thought, well, I'm going to start seeing what it looks like to tie my beard up, because it's long enough now that I am going to have it in my face if I don't. And Amanda's response was, "What is that?" she had me take it out. So we were talking, and I said, "Well, what am I supposed to do with the beard when I write?" And she said, "Trim it." So tell me down in the comments what to do with my beard. Do I let it go into lengths that would put me at the same level as Gandalf the Grey? Do I trim it, or do I shave it? I'm curious what you think. And I can feel some of the things they're talking about. I actually think the smaller paper clip is the ticket. But still no love with getting it to release. So I'm going to have to probably work at this, and hopefully next time I have these little boogers out. I got a meeting I got to get on tonight that maybe I'll work on it while I'm listening in. Give me something to do with my hands. But for those of you that are looking to do this and are going to depin, make sure you got time, because this is not as simple as shoving in a paper clip in the hole of the harness, jiggling it around, and getting these little boogers to release. Definitely is going to take some finesse. Well, that was certainly frustrating. I talked to Harley to see if I could get the connector. There was a little bit of confusion there, so I called my friend Jim, and he was telling me about there's keys actually to do this type of depinning.
You want me to do intelligent things like study or read?
And I've put a picture of one such set up above. I have a couple of them ordered. One is a thank you to Jim for pointing me in the right direction. And they'll be arriving on Tuesday, so maybe that'll do the trick. In the meantime, if I do any bike work, I'm probably going to switch gears over to the speedometer, because I did get some of the parts in for that. And yeah, I kudos to you that can do this depending with a paperclip, but I just don't have the time or patience. Okay, the other thing that we have is, those who know me know I love Go Ruck. I've done the events, although honestly I'm a bit out of shape, so I can't do anything that's like a medium or a heavy yet. But more than the events, I love their gear. And they are pretty much bomb-proof as far as the elements. They are, the packs that I have are water-resistant. I use one of their bullet rucks on the back of my bike attached to my sissy. For a long time, I just used regular rucksacks, and you would see tea bag vertical luggage mounted to my sissy bar on one side, and on the other side you'd see a ruck. And in the old days, since the rucks aren't waterproof, I would put a cover over it. And if you've ever done that, you know how much you need as far as webbing and strapping to keep that cover from wanting to fly off as you're doing, 80 down the interstate in South Dakota. So when I found out that the Go Rucks were waterproof, water resistant by nature, I was all in. Today I have a GR1, a GR2, a GR3. These are all different sized rucks for travel. I've got a couple of bullet rucks for the back of my bikes, and I have an Echo, or I think that's what it's called. I have a smaller ruck that I use for carrying around a laptop, tablet, and projector for some of my education engagements. And I wanted an extremely small, lightweight ruck just for putting my tablets and some writing materials. So I saw that they came out with this particular bag based on a Claymore bag. It has a master pocket for putting in some pads, maybe a tablet, and some front pockets for putting in some cables, maybe a set of earphones. It does have Molly webbing up at the top of the pockets, which is nice. If I have a holder for a water bottle, that might be another purpose for one of these pockets. And of course, on the front, you've got your Velcro morale badge holder, which is true with all their bags. And guys, I love your logo. Thank you for highlighting the stars and bars. So, first impressions is all of my bags that I've gotten from them have been phenomenal. I've never had any stitching problems. As I said, they've gone through dirt. The only thing I can't claim that they are is crow proof. And that's kind of a funny story. My friend Kurt and I, as I had shared, went through Yellowstone one year. And on our way back out of Yellowstone heading home, we came back to my bike. And I had my GR1, since this was a longer trip. So think of it like regular laptop size bag with just some emergency kit in case we had a breakdown or things like this. And one of the things I had in there was a small bag of corn nuts. And darned if when we got back to the bike from looking over a scenic overlook at a waterfall, a crow hadn't opened the bag and started eating corn nuts. So I always joked, and Go Ruck, if you're watching, your bags may be bomb-proof, but they're not crow-proof. So I actually have some video footage. Maybe we'll put it up here so you can see that and how we responded as we came back to that. So my first impressions are this bag is minimalist, and I love it for that. Not a lot of excess, unnecessary things. I think it'll serve exactly what it is I'm looking for. It's pretty lightweight, which is also really nice. The couple things I guess that I noticed right away is the strap is not adjustable, so the length is what it is. And the connection point where the strap meets the bag looks solid enough, but knowing myself and how I drag things around and beat them up, if there's one thing I'm worried about, it's that. But it looks pretty solid. I'm gonna use it and let people know what I think. Just at first glance, this is another A+ product from Go Ruck, and I think it was $35, so can't beat the price. It's true what they say, at least for my other ones. I'll never need to replace them. So you may spend a little bit of money, but you'll get your money's worth. And with all things, I have no endorsements from anyone. So this is just honest advice from one traveler to another, as far as if you want bags that you're not going to have to replace every couple of years and you want it to last, then Go Rec is a good place to look. And then finally, I got another little thing that I want to talk about today. It's this guy. And some of you are probably out there rolling your eyes. Oh man, another Apple fanboy. Not true. I've been a Linux guy since 1993, which pretty much makes me a universal nerd. I remember downloading the first release of Linux from 2400 baud modems and putting them onto floppies. So 93 is quite a way back. Probably date myself a little bit. Yeah, you see these? I earned them. And anyway, I have PCs at home too. You've seen me playing Magic, which, by the way, new release this weekend. And although I've played some, you'll see I'm still producing content. So everything in moderation. So anyway, Magic Arena, at least as far as I know, really only runs on PCs. It did when it was released. So I've got some Windows machines. I've got ham radios that, they're going to run on Windows. Although I've got some software-defined receiver dongles that run on Linux too. So that's pretty exciting. And actually, I've got one running on OS 10 as well. So anyway, long story short, not a fanboy. I use what works. After doing this for my career, when I come home, typically I want technology just to work. But I do gravitate to the ones that lend itself to whatever task I'm working on. The reasoning for the Apple Watch, a couple of them. One is I really have been trying to live a little healthier since the New Year's. Not a resolution, because I'm bored with that kind of stuff. Going into a new year and making crazy resolutions and doing your best to stick to it. No crazy diets, just trying to continuously improve. I'm trying to walk away from sugar soda. Actually, I'm not nearly as bad at that as I once was. But even going away from one or two a day to one or two a week would be a positive move for me. Back in the day, I was probably consuming 2 liters plus a Mountain Dew a day. So that shows you the progression. Trying to eat more vegetables again. For a long period of my time, I was a vegetarian. I'm not going to go back there. For a lot of reasons. One is I live on a hobby farm and I have chickens, and I know the value of protein. So there's other sources. We don't need to get into any of that. I respect anybody who's a vegan or a vegetarian when I'm around them. If I'm able, I will have their kind of diet as well, to be respectful. And believe me, there's plenty of excellent vegetarian and vegan food, although it's not all good for you. If you're a vegetarian and you're only eating French fries, probably not a healthy diet. So, but that said, I'm trying to eat a little bit more chicken and fish, and moderation in portions and things of this nature. From time to time, I'll have chocolate to calm my nerves. That's okay. Everything in moderation, just like Magic the Gathering. So that I don't ramble too much, one of the things I have to be good at is balancing my time. And I suffer from CRS. I'm sure there's a few of you out there that know what that means. And it's kind of nice to have little calendar reminders come up on my watch and tell me the next thing this is difficult. The next thing that's coming up for me to do. So that's a nice feature. It tells me when I get a call, which is also nice. If I'm riding down the road and I can feel that I'm getting a phone call. I'm not going to do anything stupid like try to read a text message or anything like that. But it is nice if I know Amanda's home with the kiddos or there's something I'm waiting to hear, I can pull over and take the call. And then finally, I'm thinking about it for GPS. And it'll probably be till summer or spring until I try this. But I thought if I'm running navigation on my phone and the phone is connected on my bars, well, I want to be focused on the road. I don't want to be looking at my phone to see if there's an update, like turn here or things of this nature. And most of the time I'm listening to music over Bluetooth, so I don't have the navigation piped in over the speakers on the bikes that I have that have speakers. So I thought this thing vibrates when it gets an update from the phone. Maybe the GPS software caused my watch to vibrate when I reach the intersection I'm supposed to turn at, or at least that's the logic. So we'll see. I also know there's a lot of moto vloggers that are sporting the Apple Watch. I did not go and get one of the new ones. I think this one is a Series 3, so it's limited in the faces that it can have. But, there's... I thought I was talking to it. But there's a few different widgets that are on here. The configuration I have right now shows me the date, shows me my next event, shows me my time, gives me the moon phase, and it gives me an activity / health ring. And finally, the one in the corner. This is really cool and nerdy. I got tired of coming home and having the garage door closed when I want to put the bikes away, and having to get off the bike after a long ride, put in the numeric keypad, go in the garage. Yeah, I know I'm lazy, but it was just not what I wanted to be doing after a long ride. So for that reason, and just to allow deliveries to go and be put into our garage, so Amanda and I had a little more security and understand what was going on with the garages, we installed a device that lets us open up the garage with our personal assistant, digital personal assistant, with our phones and so forth. And as luck would have it, there's an app that works on my watch, or my Apple Watch, so I can ride up, get into the application right away, push the button, open the garage from my bike, and go into the garage. Whew, that was a lot of dorky stuff, but cool stuff. I think that'll about do it for this time. It's funny. I thought that I was going to run into problems having enough content, and here I am at like 28 minutes and putting aside some for next week. Those of you that know me know I'm not a very religious man, but I am very spiritual, and I've been walking past the sign that my daughter created for probably the last week or two. And it's a good reminder to have faith. Things will work out. There is a greater plan. I know things are a bit uncertain these days, and many of you are struggling. I just want you to know that I care about you, that there are plenty of other people in this world that care about you. And remember to see the beautiful things that are around you every day.